Hey guys, Nicole here from Cole's Corner and Creations. We are on day 2 of our Dive into Swimsuits event, and today we are going to be talking about sizing. We need to figure out what size we are so that we know how much fabric to get. So the pattern that you chose will have a sizing chart included with the pattern. Here's just a couple of ones. Those are our patterns. This is the pattern I'm going to be making myself. This is the bombshell pattern, and here is a jolly pattern that has an enormous size range where you can check your measurements on those. So first you're going to measure either yourself or your child or whoever you're making a swimsuit for, and you're going to write down your measurements. Here I have Ella's and Lucy's. Ella, as you can see, sorry about those shadows, she fits pretty securely into a size 10, except her waist is just a tad bit smaller. So hers is going to be easy fitting solution. I will probably just make her a straight 10 and then try it on her and make any adjustments that I need to after that. For Lucy, you're going to see her measurements are all over the place. She's the type of kid that it's really important that you learn how to make swimsuits for, because a ready-to-wear swimsuit or a standard size is never going to fit a child like that. So Lucy's chest measurement is just a little bit larger than a size 6. Her waist measurement is way up here in a size 1, 2. Her hip measurement is in a size 6, and her height measurement is in a 7, 8. So what I've chosen to do for Lucy is to make her a size 6, and I'm going to add length to it. And then we'll worry about this teeny tiny waist in just a second. So what you're going to do is grab your pattern. It's all printed out and laid out. There's 2 ways that you can do this. You can go ahead and cut the size 6 with a 7 length, or you can add length here and then make any adjustments after that once you've either basted your swimsuit together or sewn it together. I prefer to go ahead and make my changes to the pattern pieces before I ever cut them out. That's because my kids are school age, and so they're normally in school or in sports activities, and so I'm typically sewing for them while they're out of the house or while they're sleeping. And so I don't like to try to grab them for fittings. I just make all the adjustments before I sew the pattern together. So what I'm going to do, since I'm going to add length to the size 6, is just measure on your pattern, and I'm just placing this anywhere because I'm videoing this myself. And you're going to measure the difference from one size to the other. So from the size 6 to the size 7, 8. And you can see here that it's about an inch. And then you also want to look at the top of the pattern. What is the difference between the 6 and the 7, 8? And in this case, it's also an inch at the top. Now, all measurements are not going to be equal for every child. Just because they're 49 inches tall doesn't mean that all their height is in the same place. Some kids have a really long torso, where other kids have really long legs, where other kids are kind of, tall in both areas. So you're going to have to know your kid to know where you need to add length. Do you need to add more in the torso, or do you need to add less because all their length is in their leg? For Lucy, I know that she has a very small back and she's very narrow through her shoulders. So I typically don't add any length to her in the shoulder area. I'm going to cut that as a straight 6. I'm going to add all her area through the torso. So we've got a shorten and lengthen dotted line right here. So you can just cut this line and raise it up. I'm going to add a 1/2 inch to Lucy right here, and I'm going to add a 1/2 inch to Lucy right there. That also means that you're going to have to add length to the back piece. So all you're going to do is cut along this dotted line right here, and in this case I'm going to add 1 full inch instead of breaking it up because the back piece is 1 piece. For that teeny tiny waist that Lucy has, I'm going to take most of it out of this center back. I'm also going to take a small bit out of the side seam right here. And all you can do is, take it to a 6 here and then narrow it up just a bit, coming back to the shoulder place that it needs to be at the size 6. We do have some people complain that we have a center back seam on our swimsuits. We have it on all of our swimsuits, and the reason that we have that is because it's going to give you a beautiful fit, and it also allows you another place to make adjustments. Lucy is so narrow in her waist that she really needs this center back to come in a considerable amount. If it doesn't, it's going to have a lot of bagging and sagging, which you don't want on swimsuit fabric. So this is a great place to make adjustments, and can even be made after you baste the swimsuit together. You can just pin it out, see how much needs to come out, and then seam it up. So that's a little bit about fitting and about fitting your pattern. Once you know what size you're going to make, then you're going to take your pattern and you're going to compare the size that you're picking to the fabric requirements. Remember, if you're adding a little bit of length, you don't want to go to the fabric requirements for the size 6. You want to go to the fabric requirements for the size 7, 8 to make sure that you've got enough length there. I hope that helps you. Let me know if you have any more questions. Bye.